Hi, and thanks for watching. Angelo Lambropoulos, Director of Lambros Realty here. And today I'm going to talk to you about how to set the right asking price to make sure you sell for more in half the time. Now, it's a common problem I see a lot of sellers facing out there at the moment. You know, why isn't anybody interested in my house? I've got a beautiful product, nobody's even offering. There's a lot of frustration, a lot of withdrawn listings, changing agents thinking that the problem's going to, resolve by changing. But what it comes down to, and the most important thing in I guess the marketing process is the price, right? Price is the number one element when marketing a property for sale. Yes, you've got to use the right marketing channels and strategies and all that, and that's a topic for a different day. But what I want to talk to you solely today is about, it is a correcting market, and talking about the common problems and how to combat that problem using this very one simple strategy in order to price your property for sale. So I feel like a teacher here with the whiteboard, but let's get to it. So I'm actually going to use a live example. Okay, so this was a property we sold just 3 weeks ago at 9 Rebecca Place, CHERRYBROOK. Now, this property had a fair market price worth of 1.38. Now, there were two options here, and I guess the way you approach it is this. The standard process is, all right, well, if it's worth 1.38, let's list it just above fair market price. So at 1410, which is about 2% over, and then we can negotiate from there, right? Now, the other option is you list 2% under fair market price, which is 1.35. And you're probably sitting there thinking, well, that's bait pricing, you can't do that. Now, it's not bait pricing as a client if you're willing to accept that price. Okay, and the other thing I strongly urge you to remember here is this. If you end up listing at that price, you find yourself often selling under the equilibrium fair market price, which I'll get to in a second with this example. Okay, so be very wary of that. Don't confuse asking price with what you'll actually be left with at the end of the sale. Okay, so let's use this as an example. So what we advised was this. You need to gauge the competition, right? And when you're listing a property for sale, you need to understand that you're not going to list at today's fair market price, okay? Because it's changing. So what we did is we ascertained how much competition was on the market. Anywhere, you're generally looking at about 2 to 5% under what fair market price is today, depending on what's happening in your particular marketplace in a correcting market. Now, there wasn't much available for sale, so what we did was obviously listed 2% under. Now, why did we list 2% under? Simple. The reason we use this strategy is what we want to do is allow our sellers to be in a position where they can dictate the market. Okay. If we were to list at the above fair market price, the buyers are dictating the market. It's the worst thing you can do. Okay. You want to be controlling the process, and I'll explain that right now. So what we did at 135, that's where we originally had the price guide. Now, we had good interest, a lot of inspections, but there were no firm offers in that process. So what we decided to do 2 weeks after that was we gauged it to 1.38. So we elevated the asking price. Okay. By doing that, we're sending a message to the buying market saying, well, this property is in demand. If you want it, come and get it. On the flip side, had we done the typical approach of trying to list above fair market price and then reducing it to say a 1.38, so we're meeting in the middle there, which is our equilibrium, they then start to think, oh, okay, well, I'm going to start throwing in ridiculous offers because they're obviously reducing and they're desperate to sell, right? And then amongst that, you throw in a new influx of competition that hits the property market. So your house that was new 2 weeks ago has now been superseded by another 10 homes on average or whatever it may be that have hit the market. So then you're putting yourself under pressure. So what we ended up doing is we listed it at 138. Now, what had happened there, we knew that 138 was fair market price, okay? And because we had sent that signal out, we managed to negotiate with the right buyer. We managed to sell for 1.39. Now, cut a long story short, we sold it in 47 days. Now your jaw's probably dropping. Whoa, that's a long time. Well, not in this market, it's not. That's about the average, and that's where it sits in CHERRYBROOK, in our area of service here. What you'll notice where we operate, if you go to, you look at RP data or Price Finder, you'll notice that there are quite a few homes in the suburb now that have been listed in excess of 60 days plus and 100 days plus, right? So, and this is exactly what would have happened here had we gone the fair, the traditional, we're not selling for anything under 1.4 type analogy, right? And then this is what happens. So we would have listed at 1.4, nobody was coming in, so you'd have to reduce the price in order to meet the market. You try and hit it at 1.38, but the market's already moved, momentum has shifted. By the time you catch the market again, it becomes another price reduction. Okay, we're gonna have to hit it at 1.35. But the danger is you hit it at 1.35, you're now sitting with everybody else, you've been on for 60, 70 odd days, and people start looking at it going, well, okay, let's just wait and see what happens because I know this one will be here, nobody snapped it up. So, and this is what we've got to remember. So on average, what we're seeing in Cherrybrook is about a 6 to 10% price variance from the initial asking price if you go using this strategy. So, based on that formula, had we gone down that path, we probably would have found ourselves selling for a 1.33, 90 plus days, however long it may have been, using the average change of 6 to 10% from the asking price, that being 6%. So, it's all fine and dandy to say, this is a price we're asking, we're not going to sell for anything less. But truth be told, if you use that formula, you do end up selling for less. The other problems you face are this: you withdraw, okay, and you change agents thinking, wow, a fresh marketing approach will change everything. The only thing that'll change is your expectations with asking price. Now, if you've changed agents because the initial agent lied to you about asking price and the other one was honest, fair enough. But my advice to you is don't punish the agent that's been honest with asking, the price in which you're willing to achieve there, in order to go to someone else and sell it for what they said originally, right? Now, the other common problem with this analogy is excessive days on market. You also see, as a seller, you will sell under the equilibrium there, which is your fair market price. And as I said, an average of 6 to 10% variance on the asking price change. Now, the buyers are dictating that market. The buyers are coming to you saying, we don't think it's worth this, so you've got to reduce, here's our silly offer, take it or leave it. And it'll disappoint you, you'll be angry, how dare someone make an offer like that, but that's what happens, okay? Now, when I say sellers dictate the market here, this is the difference, and this is the approach we took, okay? Your sale price, what you're doing, is you're scaling the price guide up. Okay, so the buyers move with you. So the beauty of starting, under fair market price, you can then gauge it and move it up accordingly if it looks like it's going to sell around the fair market price point. Okay, the danger is, had we gone to fair market price and there was no interest, well then, if we sit there waiting at that price, we'd probably still be sitting there waiting right now, and we'd be finding ourselves in this environment. Or you'd have to do a substantial price reduction in order to meet the market, in which buyers will be throwing cheeky offers at you, okay? So as you can see here, the message we're sending is, all right, well, it's in demand. Everything else might be sitting on the market for 90 plus days. Everything else might be, suffering substantial price reductions, but this house is in demand. Now, the other thing as well, it does half days on market. Now, whilst 47 days might seem like a long time, 90 to 100 days is even longer. Had you used that process, that's what would have happened. The ones that are, I guess the vendors that are waking up to this and the agents that are advising to use this strategy are the ones that are profiting best from this property market, okay? And you will sell over your equilibrium, which is fair market price. Now, over here, we sold for 139, which was obviously 10,000 above the equilibrium, and given the scenario, quite a good offer, quite a good result, I might say. So, and obviously the seller was a raving fan, gave us a lovely Google review, and I dare say would be happy to provide a lovely phone testimonial for any viewers that still doubt this process. So I hope this makes sense. I hope I've explained myself well enough. Obviously, because I do record the video and it's only one take, there may be things I may have missed, and things you might have said, well, hold on, that didn't make sense, or you didn't cover this. Get in contact with me. You can call me at the office, which is 0294810999. You can email me, which is info@lambrosrealty.com.au, or simply visit me at our Cherrybrook office location at Apple Tree Shops. Pardon me. And I'll be more than happy to answer any further questions you may have. But this is the process you need to use. Noted, I dare say a few of you will struggle to get your head around it, and will obviously, what strategy do you use? That's a different story altogether. You would have noticed my tender video, for those of you that may or may not have watched it, that works in line with this, hence why I believe tender is a superior alternative, especially in these property markets. So do yourselves a favor and watch that video if you haven't already. But yeah, as I said, look forward to to explaining it further. If you're looking to sell and looking for advice on how to best go about it and what fair market price is and how to price, because that's an art in itself, you're more than welcome to contact me. I hope that helps, and thanks for watching.